Hey guys, we are live with episode 301 of The Shooter's Mindset with Jeremy Gresham of IWI, and we're going to talk about all things IWI. So we got our co-host Greg Cannon here with us. What's up,
Hey,
Greg?
hey everyone.
And we've got Jeremy, who's the guest of the hour. I've already had a couple
Ugh.
people hit me up today that were like, "Oh my God, you've got Jeremy coming on the show." So everyone is excited about this. And so I can't wait to dig in and kind of hear everything about it. So, for those of us, just to kind of kick it off that are unfamiliar with you, tell us a little bit about how tell us about yourself and how you became involved with the firearms industry as a whole.
All right, yeah, I'm glad to be here. Kind of just a Florida boy who shot, hunting, fishing type thing. Uh, Joined the military after high school. I got out of the military, couldn't really decide what I was going to do, so my mom put me in Tallahassee, went to Florida State. Ran a gun store there in Tallahassee, Kevin's Guns and Sporting Goods. Found out that I'd do exceptionally well at this stuff and went on to work at one of the larger distributors within the industry, bought all the firearms, tactical accessories, optics, pretty much if it went on an M4 type variant, AK variant. I purchased it for that number of years. And then from there, I went to Strategic Armory Corps. They own Surgeon, Macmillan, Nexus, Armalite, and I was the VP of sales.
Macmillan.
I was the VP of Sales and Marketing there for 3 years, national sales manager prior to that for a year or 2 years. And then now I've been at IWI for almost 3 years and director of sales and marketing and trying to do a couple things different, help some Israelis understand the U.S. market a little better.
I mean, it's only like a little different.
You'd be
Just a wee bit.
surprised. Yeah.
Just a little bit. So there's a lot of history with IWI. So, like, how did it get to be where it is today, and what's the history of what brought it here?
Yeah. So it's an 80-year-old company, IMI, which is Israeli Military Industries. They had a weapons side and they had a ammunition side. In 2005, Sammy Kitsoff bought the weapon side of it and started IWI, Israel Weapon Industries. You'd be surprised how many people walk up to our booth and say, "Oh, it's the IWI guys," and I'm like, "Yeah, we're not from Australia or New Zealand. They're three individual letters." Um, and the Tavor, Uzi, Galil, and then the Negev, the belt-fed machine guns. And then in 2012, he saw a demand for his product in the United States and started poking around to figure out how he could get it here in the United States and launched IWI US. We had an importer of our product, the Jericho and things of that nature, already in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And that gentleman said, "Hey, you can use my building. We'll get you stood up and going." And then ever since then, we've been cruising pretty good. And it's been an ever growing population, and a lot of people have a lot of respect for the Israeli product. They're building it out of necessity to keep themselves alive. I mean, it's a country the size of New Jersey that's surrounded by people who pretty much just want to wipe them off the face of the earth. So, I when I got here, it was like, our products have such a big history and why they developed it and the who's and the whys, rather than just some other firearms manufacturers where they just said, "Oh, well, we're just going to do this." A lot of this stuff came to be because they needed it for war to protect themselves. So it's continuing that evolution. There's 75 to 80 countries that use our weapons as their primary means of defense, similar to we use an M4. There's countries that are using the Galil, they're using the Tavor, Uzi, the belt-fed machine guns within the Gevs, and now we've got the M4 variants and some strike-fire pistols. So we've got a full-service weapons manufacturing facility, basically.
I mean, they say necessity is the mother of inventions.
It's funny how that works out when everybody wants to bomb your homeland.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'll do it. How many countries did you say were using it?
Right now it's sitting between 75 and 80.
Wow.
We just won a very large belt-fed machine gun contract with India. I think it was 16 or 17,000 belt-fed machine guns going into India. But other than that, last year we had just shy of 80,000, what is called our Ace 21, which is our Galil Ace 5.56 that runs NATO mags. We had, just under 80,000 went into the Philippines last year. So we pretty, along with IWI, we own, Sammy owns Meprolite. It's an optics company. We also own a company called Camaro, which is see-through wall technology. And we also own a shipping company or shipyard where we go into countries and dredge ports, help you set up your entire, shipping and receiving based off of the sea. So
Wow.
he's a fairly busy man over there in Israel.
So
There we go.
Imagine that. Anthony joined us.
Yay, Anthony.
I'm still kind of part of this show in some way. I guess it's been a little bit. It's been a little bit since I've been on here. But I'm gonna pick it up here. When I think IWI, Jeremy, the first weapon that comes to my head, and this varies probably from a lot of people because IWI offers so many great weapons platforms. But to me, it's always been the original Uzi, and I know that's kind of been a staple for the kind of brand and company. But man, when I talk about machine guns, some people's like, really, you like the Uzi the most? Yeah, it's kind of about that rate of fire. You can control it. It's an awesome thing to shoot. But what is the current firearm lineup that IWI US offers currently?
Yeah, so we still have the Uzi. Then there's the Galil Ace, which is our AK variant. The Tavor, which is what we're most known for in the bullpup family. Jericho pistols, which are very similar to the Baby Eagle from Desert Eagle. There's a partnership there. We manufacture a good bit of their product for them. This year we launched a Zion, which is our M4 variant. We can go into that later. Israel's got a rifle called the Carmel, which is like a G36 Scar variant. They've also got an Arad, which is very similar to a 416. Then we've got the TS12 shotgun, which is our bullpup rotating tube, 15 round plus one bullpup shotgun. Masada, which is our entry into the striker fire world. And the Negevs, we've got the Dan rifle, the 338. We got a 40 Mike. Pretty much, like I said, it's a full service weapons manufacturer. We pretty much build just about anything you would need. There's a lot of other stuff that we don't obviously see here in the States, but some riot control stuff like the pepper guns and things of that nature, 37 millimeter beanbag launchers, stuff like that. So
there you go. So let's kind of go down the list here. You guys recently announced the Zion, all right, entering kind of that AR-15, very popular, very kind of saturated market. What does the Zion what separates it from what's out there, and what does it offer for that price point that we get?
Yeah, so I get that question a lot because people are like, why is IWI going into the M4 world? Well, simply, my degree from Florida State is risk management insurance. And what people don't fully understand is that if there ever was a firearms ban like we had in 94, that also says that the over 300,000 weapon systems that we have in the United States, I can no longer service them. So we went out and started buying machinery to basically have the ability, should something happen, to continue to should provide a service to our customers. But with that, we're like, what else do we not build? Well, the M4 was part of that. I came from Armalite, so I had a good history of the M4 world. So we set out saying, hey, we're going to just build a rifle that has that we think brings some unique flair to it. But at the end of the day, it is another M4. We went with 16-inch, but instead of carbine, we went mid-length. Instead of an aluminum barrel nut, a stainless steel barrel nut. In the 3-gun world and the action shooting in the military and law enforcement stuff that I did with Armalite, we found that aluminum barrel nuts they lost their rigidity and you lost accuracy fairly quickly. So after that, it was, we needed a good barrel. Fortunately, we have our own hammer forging and button lines. So we went out and did that, used B5 furniture. It's got a 16 or 15-inch handguard. We went to a Cross Machine and Tool and talked to those boys, put a solid rail on there, and it retails for $899. And I would say I'd put it up against anything else out there for even above it and below it. I mean, we did 10K through it in just under 2 days, checking accuracy and speeds and with the machine gun. And it started well under half inch and it ended under an inch after 10K. So we were happy we released it. I guess we released it at the right time. So that kind of helps too. But like I've told a lot of people is we don't, unlike other M4 companies, we don't have to sell a ton of them. This is simply an insurance policy that if something happens to us, like, when COVID hit, the country of Israel came to a standstill. If we didn't have the M4, we were shipping nothing because everything else comes out of Israel. So for 2.5 months, all we shipped was Zion, which kept our employees being paid, collecting a paycheck, insurance benefits, things of that nature. But also it showed our ownership that no matter what happens in the world, the United States will continue to operate as a country, unlike even countries like Israel.
Yeah, so that ends up paying off big, obviously, because no one knew this was actually going to go down. You guys were obviously the announcement, and then the hype, and then the release, and here we are. So let's talk about perfect timing in regards to that. But cold hammer forged barrels, B5 furniture, which B5 furniture is kind of the Gucci right now. I'm digging it. And you guys are doing a lot of stuff in-house for $8.99 MSRP. Street value, you can probably find it a little bit less for a cold hammer forged barrel. That's a really good steal.
Yeah, so we ended up putting the button barrel in there. I just didn't think people wanted the cold hammer forge because people are all about accuracy, right? And at the end of the day, cold hammer forge doesn't produce the same accuracy that the buttons does. So it's like you give up a little longevity with the button, but in the same breath of air, like if you're going to shoot 15,000 rounds out of that barrel, you can afford to buy a new barrel. So it kind of works out.
Need to make me a barrel that I could shoot 14 to 15,000 out of for this.
Yeah, good luck, buddy.
There we go. We got a couple live ones, don't we?
We have quite a few.
Yeah, great. My crowd of people wanting to come play.
Let's see. Will Rhodes said hello. Jeremy Crowlock said Gresh. Dylan Izzy said so hot, much sexy, very IWI. Jessica Cooler said, hey, you single? Let's see what else we have in here. Jeremy said he's going to place an order for a Nergev.
He wants a Negev.
Negev, there we go.
Everybody wants me to sell them a Negev. And I'm like, I would give everybody machine guns if we could.
That would be pretty cool. Yeah. Noel said hello from Charlotte. Dylan said Uzi is his favorite sub gun.
Yeah.
Adam wants to know
what's your favorite IWI firearm?
I tend to gravitate towards the Galil family. When I got to IWI, I was like, not a big fan of the AK world, but as you dive more into it, the Galil it's built like a tank and it just continues to eat whatever I put in it. So the 5.56 Galil gives me that ability to run standard NATO mags. There's a lot of people who just want another gun who don't want another M4. So that kind of gives that flair to it. After that, I'd probably say the GL40, which is our 40 mic. It's pretty solid too.
There we go. Excellent. A couple of times we mentioned the Uzi here. We'll get back to some live. You guys are offering the Uzi Pro now. Is the old school Uzi that's a thing of the past? That is what's in circulation, or is that still being produced?
So the Uzi Pro is what we produce now. I have been adamantly trying to convince powers to be at Israel to bring back the Uzi with a 21st century flare. I'd like to see it in 10 mil too, if I could make it happen. Yeah, I'd like to, back when they first had the Uzis, they're like, well, they didn't sell very well. I'm like, yeah, well, SB Tactical wasn't around either. So, you put like that 1913 pick rail that they have on some of those guns, with a brace. I think a micro Uzi or even a mini Uzi would sell extremely well. in today's market. But right now we have the Uzi Pro 9mm is the only caliber. We're working on some updates for it. You know, we're the only country really that threads barrels and puts suppressors on things too. So talking to them about that. So we're working on bringing in some barrels that are threaded to help people out. Cause right now, I mean, there's not a whole lot of barrels sticking out of that gun and it's not threaded. So
There you go.
But, yeah.
What do we did the giveaway? We had one for a couple weeks now. I don't
Yes.
want to get past it with another question and then we don't do it. We do it too late. So what do we got?
All right. So we actually have. Let me get over
Was
here.
it the burger bullets giveaway?
Yes.
You gotta announce the burger, and we have a new one to launch, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So we'll go ahead and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 awesome prize packages from Burger Bullets. Let me pull this up real quick. And we're going to go over to our random number generator.
I like the dude to send a picture of an actual burger. I'm sorry. I just thought that one was clever.
All right, let's see. We'll go share screen.
What was it? It was share a picture of your burger bullets on your bench or something like that?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, it said share a picture of your burgers on your bench. And, well, we have from Kevin a burger on the bench.
Yeah.
He should get something for that.
Yeah, agreed.
That's
when I saw
funny.
When I saw that one come in, I'm like, all right.
10, 12, 14. We only had 14 people enter this. God, guys, enter our contest. There's like
A lot of really cool stuff being given away.
yeah. So like, let's see.
I could have probably shared it a little harder.
Yeah, me too. Hold on. I got the original post up here someplace to show what an awesome. So 2 people are going to win. 3 people are going to win gift certificates for 2 boxes of Burger Bullets each. Like, that's awesome. And then like burger hat and shirt combo, also awesome. All right, so off to our random number generator.
Those are good odds.
Yeah, that's real good odds, especially since we're pulling 5. So
Yep.
for the first one, maybe. Come on, generate. There we go. 6. So whoever number 6 is. 2,
All right.
4, 2, 4, 6. There's one winner.
Brent?
Yep, Brent Harlan. Our next is going to be 5, which is Dusty Quinn. And our next is going to be 4, which is Alex Roth. And so all 3 of these guys won bullets.
Damn, consecutive 6, 5, 4.
Yeah. Now let's go for our hat and shirt combos. We've already done 6. Sorry, you can't go again. 7. Oh, Kevin won a hat and a shirt
Nice for the burger on
for his
the
For his
burger on the
burger.
bench.
That's awesome.
And then number 3, Jason won a hat and a shirt. If you guys are watching live, go ahead, shoot us a message on the Shooter's Mindset. And we will.
The dude with the burger, I'm sending him a t-shirt. So send me his address because that was awesome. I like the creativity.
burger on a bench. Yeah, I like that. I like that. I was like, dude, this dude's got it. That was awesome. All right, what's the new giveaway? What do we got, man? I'm a little bit out of the loop, obviously. What we're giving away for the new
All right.
one?
So our new giveaway. Let's see if it's up here and I could just show the post. Oh no, it comes up in 5 minutes. So we have an awesome media bundle from Applied Ballistics. It includes pretty much every book that Brian Litz has written. There's some DVDs. I'm not sure if like the t-shirt and stickers and stuff comes with it, but it is a monstrous value and it is a ton of knowledge. And we will have one lucky winner that will receive one of those. I got one sitting up here on my shelf and I'm going to try and see how much I could learn from it. But it's just like all of the knowledge you could possibly get in long range shooting, ballistics, everything like that will show up on your doorstep in a box. Then you just have to read it and learn it all. There's a post that's going live on the Shooter's Mindset Facebook page at 9:30. We'll do our normal thing. like us, like them, like the post, tag 2 friends, and our show next week, we will have a drawing for that one lucky winner.
Boom. Digging it. 9:30. That's in 4 minutes. Guys, get in on that giveaway. So you mentioned some of this, Jeremy, earlier. Desert Eagle, Jericho pistols, still, these are, man, old. I mean, Jericho's been around for a very long time with their guns. Desert Eagles, obviously, very famous for movies and a lot of other things, man. Big time, big calibers, 50As. I shot plenty of those. Very fun guns. So this is a partnership between two companies. Are you guys solely producing it? Are these being produced overseas? And what are the import challenges of getting these guns over in the U.S.?
So, from my understanding, it's a partnership with IWI Israel and Magnum Research. It's made there in Israel, the Baby Eagle or the 50 and the 44. From my knowledge, it's, as long as the pistol meets the point system value and it's approved by the ATF, getting it in the United States is pretty straightforward. However, that approval process takes between 17 and 24 months. So, once it's approved and you make no changes to it, you're doing okay. It's if you make any subtle changes that can change the point system, no joy. It goes back to the ATF for review, 17 to 20 months. You're going to wait.
Okay, so that's the delay, the initial get in.
The initial getting in, give you the example, right, is like all our Galils are brought in as pistols, whether it's a 16-inch or the 8.3. Well, Israel makes a 13-inch pistol. So I was like, well, this should be pretty straightforward, right? Because I'm not going to go any lower on the points than my 8.3-inch barrel, and I'm not going to go any higher than my 16-inch barrel. So why do you need to see the pistol? Well, the points may have changed, Jeremy. You're not fully understanding ATF. It didn't go any lower than 8.3. It's not going to go any higher than 16. Why do you need to see it? That it's been sitting there for almost I think it's 6. I think we're going on 6 months now. And it's just a barrel change. It's a length change, but they have to see it and do their little deal with it, man. I don't understand.
Yeah, so that's it. So any subtle changes, I know, man. Yeah, so if just as simple as a barrel length, I thought it was a little bit more than that, but geez. So that's some ATF magic and some import knowledge for you. I mean, every time I think of NFA, ATF stuff, I just you can beat your head into a table.
There's no rhyme or reason to it, right? It's somebody's interpretation of the law, or
right.
even a rule set, right? I don't even know if I would call it a law because it changes hourly, it seems like.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's their biggest hurdle, right? Israel will launch a new product like the Carmel or something, and people are like, why can't I get it in the United States? And I'm like, we're a company that doesn't like money, apparently. Like, we have tried to get it in the United States. The ATF continues to decline it. There's nothing I can do. So It's part of the deal of working at import, right? So that was part of the program that, we were talking to our owner, is that, we have product in Israel that we would love to get here in the United States, but unless we make it here in the United States, it's never coming. But then even to get it made here in the United States, we still have to get approval because of the transfer of technical data.
Okay, there
Never
you go.
fun. Never fun.
But, no, man, this you mentioned it a little bit earlier today. The COVID-19 has put a severe halt on this entire year, essentially. But the firearms industry has really boomed because of it, and it's kind of like a sad thing to say that something like this has to go down. People need to get sick. Riots need to happen for people to actually purchase their first gun and kind of see why they need to own a firearm and essentially like that. But what are some of the challenges that IWI is seeing because of this? And we kind of mentioned it earlier that you guys weren't able to get much out of Israel because the whole country was locked down.
Yeah, so, I mean, the country of Israel is just starting to open back up, right? They've been shut down since, middle of February. We've been working subtly. We've got some permits over there where, we were running 2 shifts, but very small numbers, and we're getting some product out. Well, at the end of the day, too, there were no flights going into Israel and no flights coming out of Israel. So Whereas, simple math, right? Like if we were paying $5 per kilo of weight for cargo, well, now there's only 2 flights coming in and 2 flights going out. We at one point in time we were upwards of $50 to $60 per kilo. So now you're talking about putting stuff on a ship, which takes 30 days to get across the ocean, or you pay the cash to get it on an airplane. So for a while there, it was slim pickings coming out of Israel. Fortunately, we had production stood up here in the United States for some things. And it's opened the eyes again, as we talked about, of our ownership of no matter what really goes on in the world, the U.S. is still going to, continue to push forward. Our constitutional right is to own and possess and firearms in general. So you're not going to take that, and people are going to buy. And yeah, it's unfortunate that we have to have this. But in the same token, there are many people that I went to college with that were like, oh, well, the police are going to come save me. Well, now these police aren't showing up to work anymore. Well, now those same people are like, hey, I'm trying to buy a firearm. I have to wait this 6 days, or I think in Florida now, and where I'm from, it's like, what's the waiting period now in Florida?
If you don't have a concealed weapons license, it's 5 business days. So come pick it up next week.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep.
Without a concealed weapons license.
Yeah, like when I was there, it was 3 days, not counting the day you pick it, the day you purchase or the day you buy it. But even still, right? Like that's not going to help you when people are standing at your front door wanting to take your property that you've worked your entire life for. And then on top of that, they have no fundamental knowledge of what they're even going to do with that pistol. So now, hopefully a lot of these people understand that you can you're basically controlling an explosion in your hand. Now you need to go get the training to understand this explosion. So,
right.
I hope that people take that initiative, and I hope it brings some people that may have, I'm going to vote to take away our rights. Maybe they swing the other way now. That's like, when I need it, I'm going to need it. And I don't want anybody to take that from me. So
lots of people reaching out now wanting to, will you teach me how to shoot?
Yeah.
And we've all seen examples of pictures online of people that have the gun and not training, and hopefully they'll reach out and get a little bit more training before next time they got to pull it out.
Well, let's face it, there's a lot of people that own firearms and need the training, but we live in a culture where it's cool to bolt every widget known to man on a pistol or a rifle, and somehow that's going to make us a better shooter. Anthony, are you still shooting a lot of USPSA?
No, not really, but I'm seeing that. I mean,
he shoots IDPG.
Rarely.
Really?
That's a rare.
But right, like carry optics, right? It's a beautiful thing. Putting dots on pistols is a wonderful piece. However, people are skipping the whole process of understanding the fundamentals of lining up their sights and trigger press and grip, thinking that if I put the dot, I only have to put the dot on the target and pull the trigger. Kind of not really working out in their favor, but I still think that's the way to go.
Yeah.
And then the amount of people that are getting long guns, and they want to put the biggest scopes known to man. Great. Hey, I'm a big fan of 7-35, but I don't know that you need it on a 223 or a 308 when you're only shooting 100 yards.
No, but when you get a 1500, it's really helpful.
Yeah,
for sure. I remember, when I was at Surgeon McMillan, we were running a lot of B scopes, the 5-25s, and now you get the 7-35s. And, I have one of the Voodoo, Paul Parrott used to be my boss at Surgeon. So when he started Voodoo and I got one of those rifles, I'm like, what goes on this thing? He's like, you need the 7-35 ATAC. I was like, all right, that's what we'll put on it. It's a pretty cool little setup though.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, in the live questions, there's a lot of questions referencing skinny jeans or skinny capris.
Not me. I promise you that one.
Can you expound on that and why there's so much of that coming up in the feed?
I honestly couldn't tell you, because pretty much if it doesn't say Vertex and they're not Delta Elites, I'm not wearing it. So
there is something about 10,000 t-shirts in there also.
I got a lot of t-shirts, so I'm not going to
Just
discount that, right? Like, I got a lot of t-shirts. Fortunately, I got a great folder, because I would just throw them on the floor and pick and choose. So, but yeah, like I said, the industry will continue to evolve as it always will. IWI will continue to evolve. Fortunately now we've got, we're telling Israel what we want as a cultural, what our customer expects, rather than like Field of Dreams. If we build it, you'll buy it. That can only last for so long. So listening to our customer base, getting a better understanding of what they want, also translates over to the military well. So everybody's learning. At the end of the day, we're still an infant company, whether we're 80 years old globally, but we're only 6 years old here in the United States. So, I guess, like I said, we'll continue to grow, work with our partners, work with our customers, and see where the next piece of the puzzle and what piece of innovation can we come out with next.
There you go. Any talks on IWI offering long-range rifles for PRS shooters? Do you have something that you think we can use and be competitive, or is that just like military-based weapons? And obviously, those aren't really a choice for a PRS shooter. Not that you can't use that, but anything?
Yeah. So we built the Dan rifle, the 338, and I think it was more of a point that Israel said, like, hey, we built a bolt gun. I don't know that they've had much success with it. We haven't brought it into the United States much. We are looking at some bolt gun pieces, just like I said, with previous companies like Surgeon. It's just I've got a good knowledge base on it. We've got a couple of good guys on our team that are Tom Alabrando is a former SWAT guy, sniper guy. So he's got extensive knowledge on long guns as well. And we've got a lot of guys like one of my commercial sales managers just bought a new rifle from George. He had that SHOT Show special in 6 Creed, and
that's such a good deal,
right? Everybody's shooting long guns, so we're looking at what we can do with a bolt gun. I mean, obviously anything can translate over to the PRS world as long as it's accurate. And you have the right calibers, or it's not proprietary, so people can put barrels on there. And that was the biggest problem with the Dan, is it was its proprietary weapon system, so nothing worked with it. The short answer is eventually, probably, but currently, right now, probably not.
There we go. We got a couple good live ones. Greg, what do you got?
I believe your mom said hi.
Most likely.
Let's see. Someone else asked what your most popular selling gun is, and I want to break that down into 2 pieces. What's your most popular selling guns in the U.S. versus the rest of the world?
All right, so in the U.S., I would say right now anything I could ship.
Truth.
Yeah.
The conversations that I have with our customer base is not what do you have X in stock. It's what do you have in stock, and when can I get it?
Yep.
But overall,
we've been selling the piss out of Galil Ace pistols at the gun shop that I work at. It doesn't matter what caliber it's in, 5.56, 7.62 by 39. Some people tend to look for the 7.62 by 39, but we ran out of those. We had the 308 version, gone in a week. We sold that with like a 60-round mag pull drum to go with it, and 308 or whatever. It's a 50-round drum or whatever it comes with. Man, I mean, these are, and really we don't have a market to where we can sell like $1,800 AR style pistols like the Galil, but they're moving. We can't keep them in stock. We probably bought 10 5.56 Galil Ace pistols, and we're down to 2, and that was 2 weeks ago. Flying.
Nice.
Well, so those are popular.
We appreciate the support for sure. And I mean, I'd say US wise, probably the X95, the Bullpup X95 is probably our most popular. And then right behind that is new, the TS12. For whatever reason, people are eating that shotgun up, and it's fun. It's even better if you can put a suppressor on there. The Stavo fits it, and you put that can on there. It's a good time. Internationally, I'd say probably the Galil as a family. I mean, we go into a lot of countries that are running old Soviet com block weapon systems that are shot out bad. Mm-hmm. And we come in with a Galil, and they already have mags that run. They already have surplus of ammunition. So the Galil and probably the Negev. The Negev, as it sits today, is still the only semi-automatic belt-fed machine gun. So Obviously SIG's working on one. General Dynamics is working on one for the U.S. military. We weren't able to compete in the next generation squad automatic weapon system because we had no manufacturing at the time that thing started here in the U.S. The U.S. military requires it made here in the U.S. But, internationally, those probably two, the Galil and the Negev, as of right now. The Carmel's gaining steam internationally. I think Azerbaijan's looking at that pretty hard. And there's a couple other countries, but overall, probably the Galil and the Negev.
There you go. Any more live?
I literally just missed. I had one up here. Do you have any more Galil Ace Blems laying around for sale?
Dude, that was so what that's all about is 2 years ago, I was missing a container of Galil. Yeah.
Oh, that's a big fuck up.
Yeah. So I got a phone call a little bit after a while, and my container that was supposed to come into northern, part of the U.S. was sitting down there by Anthony in South Beach. And I opened the container and Galils fell at my feet. I closed the container and blimmed them all. And some of them were great and some of them were not so great, but nevertheless, you got a Galil for about $1,000. And it was a lot cheaper than, at first we were talking about sending them all back to Israel and getting them reworked. And I was like, no, I'm not putting this back on the sea, giving it reworked and all that. It's not worth it. But yeah, there were probably close to 3,000 guns that went somewhere.
Wow. Where was I during this?
Yeah, where was I towards this $1,000 Galil deal?
Really, lost guns? No.
Yeah, it's part of the deal, but yeah, we don't.
It's like your boating accident guns that all washed up to shore, and then we sold them as all blems to everybody. It's like shit.
For sure.
Yeah, I think it was sometime during this whole rioting thing going on. Apparently somebody got into a train car full of guns someplace. There was very little detail in the article, so I don't know the validity of it, but can you imagine that?
Yeah. I didn't even know that people still put guns on trains. Like, I saw a video of guys, like, train was still moving. They're taking like 60-inch flat screens out of it, but so
yeah.
But yeah, it's the whole industry as a whole, like you said, Anthony, and y'all know. I mean, it pretty much if it goes bang right now, people are selling it, and ammunition's getting harder to come by. Right? We ordered. We called our contacts at, we shoot all of our guns 15 rounds test fire. We use a lot of 223, so we were getting a little bit low. We called our contacts at Federal. We ordered 500,000 rounds in late April. They told us March of next year at current back order we would start seeing it. That's just off the shelf XM193.
Wow.
It's crazy.
So then, like, for you all, right, that are running, I just had one of my buddies who lives down there in Tampa. He's like, hey, man, I can't find match ammo anywhere. I'm like, good luck, dude. Good luck. It's just not going to happen. These manufacturers are cranking 9 and 5.56 and things of that nature. And I think I saw something online the other day. A guy was looking for 6.5 PRC brass, and I was like, buddy, good luck finding the ammo, much less the brass right now. So
yeah,
it's just in times like this, you're glad that you stocked up on, if you're a reloader, primers and brass and projectiles. People are like, why do you need all that? Well, right now is why I need it. Yeah.
And people, I mean, my number's fairly low compared to most people you talk to, but I try to keep 1,000 rounds of every caliber that I own. And some people are like, only 1,000. I keep 5,000. And then there's some people who look at me like I'm a crazy man that I keep 1,000 rounds per caliber just sitting. Like, and that's like, I let it, and I'd rather just buy some ammo to let that 1,000 rounds sit before I touch it. Because if I feel like I'm less than 1,000 rounds in a caliber, like I got nothing, like it's running low, supply's running low, I can't have that. So that's just the way I am with it. But I'm like, people are like, I need 5.56, I can't find it, or those funny calibers like 5.7 by 28 or 380 ammo was dried up, couldn't find it. I'm like, dude, what do you guys see? What happens when you buy odd calibers? Now you can't find it. But I got plenty of 9. Oh, but I don't have a 9. I have a 5.7 by 28. I'm like, okay, well, good luck, because I can't even get it. I can't even find 5.7 by 28.
And see, like, I'm a fan of 5.7 by 28, but like you said, in times like this, there's only 2 people making that round right in general. So,
Yep.
The demand for 9 is so much more than 5.7 by 28. So if you're an ammo manufacturer, what are you going to do? Shut the machine down? Not happening. But yeah, I mean, it's we've resorted to calling distribution and dealers and stuff. I mean, we're buying ammunition at premium prices just to keep product moving out the door for us. But I agree with what you're saying. I keep a good bit of ammo on hand because at the end of the day, I still want to train and go out and have a good time, shoot matches when I can. So, I talk to people that I'm like, hey, do you want to go to the range this weekend? And they're like, oh man, I can't justify using the ammo right now. And I'm like, well, maybe you should buy more when it's, or like now they're like, well, 223 or 5.56, it's 35 cents a round. I'm like, it's better than not having it. So
Yeah.
one of those things, it's a diminishing return on it, I guess.
Right. Any good let's go. We're gonna grab some live if we got them queued up. But the Red October match, info on the match. I know IWI is a big supporter, sponsor of this match. Obviously, the Red October is a competition style match that allows your AKs, your Galils. Well, all matches technically you can take an AK or a Galil and shoot it, but this one's kind of around that on those weapon style platforms. So what's the details on it? Can we still sign up and get in on this match? What's the down low?
So we've got Clash Bash first. It's the second weekend of October, outside of Houston, Texas. The boys at Dissident Arms put that on with Kyber Customs. It's a 8 to 10 stage carnival type thing. There's a lot of demo guns there as well. We'll be there with our demos, but same thing. And then you've got there's slots open for Clash Bash last time I looked. And then you've got Red October, which is a gathering of com block weapon systems. Brian Nelson is the match director down at he runs SUPS TPC, but they moved the match to Pro Gun Club there in Vegas. Red October or Rifle Dynamics puts that match on with Brian, and again, it's an AK type match. And when that match first started, we jumped in. I'm a big component that action shooting will help you as a shooter, whether you believe in the tactical side or the competitive shooting side. Standing flat-footed on the range doesn't help a whole lot of people. So let the buzzer go off. You won't hit anything, I promise you, until you get used to it. We've been a part of that since it started, and it's ever growing. The Galil is continuing to gain popularity. We're getting more and more shooters in there. Again, people don't want to learn that rock and lock system here in the U.S. Unless you're Mother Russia and you're Bulgarian or Yugoslavian gun, which is great. I've got a couple of them as well, but PMags are a lot cheaper than rock and lock AK mags from Bulgaria. So the Galil continues to grab popularity there. I think last year, out of the top 20, I think 8 of them were Galils. The first 3 were Galil. But now there's the PCC division. So you got the guys running the Kalashnikov USA KP9s from Dissident as well. Century makes it. Palmetto makes it. Everybody's jumping in that AK world right now. But it's a great match. Pro Gun Club Vegas is always a good place. If they can get it back to St. George, Utah at SUPS and TPC, it'd be awesome as well. But then we're seeing we're seeing our Galil show up in 3-gun and action shooting sports in general. Dylan, who's commented on there, shoots a lot of 3-gun in general, and he's been shooting his gun. The Galil, again, it's a 1-in-7 cold hammer forge. It'll run. So it's a fun match. I encourage anybody to get out there. We bring extra guns, so if you don't have a gun and you want to shoot, you can borrow one of ours. You just got to feed it. They don't shoot. Brian doesn't make anything super hard out there. I think the longest target for PRS boys are probably laughing because they can hit it with a rock. But I mean, I think the longest target was like a B-27 piece of steel at 150 yards. But a 7.62 bullet at 150 yards is already a poke for those boys. So
sounds like a pistol shot in the last multi-gun match I shot in.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Adam Weber just asked if IWI is going to come out with a PCC. Nah, not anytime soon, buddy. And
I think they want to know if you're going to come out with skinny jeans, because I'm going through the comments and like every third one is about skinny jeans.
I don't know what to tell them, but I mean, a lot of people have asked me about that PCC thing, and I like the PCC a lot. But you know, being a milled receiver instead of a stamped receiver with the AK world, our gun cost a lot more to make just because it's a milled gun instead of stamped sheet metal, essentially. Nothing against the guys that run stamped sheet metal, just we have a milled gun. I own a KP9. I just got it from Dissident. Just shot it in a match this past weekend. I love it. It's great. But at the end of the day, for company wise, if I came out with a PCC that's going to retail for $18.99 compared to the KUSA down there where you're at, that's retailing for $7.99, I don't know that you can justify that in 9mm. You can justify it in bigger calibers, but not necessarily in 9mm.
Yeah. Yeah, we got some good live ones here. I don't know if you want to hit those, Greg.
Yeah, let me hit a couple. One of them, our friend Corey asked, who would you recommend to work on a Galil?
So Haikun Defense or Dissonant Arms, they're both in Texas. Daniel Fisher also works at K&S Precision. Gordon and those boys make a lot of parts for our guns, so they know them back and forward. And Mike and Lan are pretty good, you know, if not one of the better on the AK world. You know, they're best known for like the Vepr shotgun style, but they've done a lot of work on the Galils. And then you can't overlook Gary Hughes if you can get him to do it for you. I know he's busy doing his own thing, but you know, Gary's kind of like the godfather of AK with Jim Fuller, but Jim's kind of doing his own thing now with his new company in Arizona. But right now, if somebody said, hey, I want to do something to a Galil, I'd say send it to Haikun Defense, Daniel Fisher, or Lan Nguyen and Mike Whitesides at Dissonant Arms. So probably the two companies I'd send it to.
Awesome.
There we go.
And there was another live, I lost it, and we've kind of touched on bits and pieces of this, but if we were to have like a real fast summary of I have an AK and a Galil, obviously we know which one I should buy, but why would I buy the Galil over an AK?
So if you're going apples to apples, right, 7.62 by 39, we're both going to run rock and lock mags. However, with the traditional AKs, guys are talking about like they want to know what the metal is on the front and rear trunnions, what the bolt's made out of, how good the rivets are, where it's made, where the parts kit came from, you know, things of that nature. Well, with the Galil, it's a milled receiver. You ain't got any worry about any of that. But also, you know, we don't put out things unless pretty much it's vetted pretty hard. You know, I'm not saying other people do or don't, but our product, as we talked about in the beginning of this, you know, the Galil was built because they were given, the Israelis and the IDF were given FALs 308s that didn't run in the desert very well. And they were also given com block Russian guns, 7.62 by 39 that ran really well. So they're like, well, let's take the 308, put it in a AK variant, it'll run in the desert. So thus came to the original Galil in 308, then 7.62 by 39. But overall, I mean, the only real competitor I've got in apples to apples would be the Arsenal Sam 107 milled receiver in general. But if I'm picking it, longevity, running 3032 CRV cold hammer forged barrel, we can service them. We don't see a whole lot of returns, if any. They just run. Here in the United States, we don't like a lot of felt recoil, as y'all know, in the PRS world. So,
what? You know, we have felt recoil
with 30-pound rifles and 6mm bullets. So, we put, people are always saying like, okay, I'm gonna put the K&S piston on the AK or the Galil, and then it starts choking. And I'm like, well, guys, the reason why the AK is so reliable is because it is over gas. So you just neutered it by putting this piston in, which I think works great, but you do have to tune it just like an adjustable gas block. So, overall, I'd say the Galil, I think the 5.56 variant makes the most sense for the U.S. market because we are so accustomed to the M4 mag and the M4 mag, the loading manual arm system. Same thing on the Galil.
And the ambi features on the Galil are the ergonomics overall are way better than an AK.
For sure.
I mean, you got ambi mag release, you got ambi safety, and the ambi safety's placed right in front of the grip on the ace. So as a right-handed shooter, you just almost just take your finger and push it forward, and that's it. I mean, versus the AK clunky safety, it scratches up the whole side of the receiver. Then you got to come underneath the gun it's the battery of arms. The ergonomics of the AK always blew, in my opinion.
Yeah, and then like on the 5.56, we have the last round bold open feature. Same, so people are used to that. So, and people have asked why we haven't done it in the 308, which we're looking at if it's possible. It's obviously the magazine can do it. Can we? Is there room in the receiver body to put that feature there? If it is, we'll do it. And there's some other areas that we're looking at to improve in the Ace. Hopefully, we'll have a Gen 2 in a couple of years. But again, like that's going to have to go to ATF approval whenever it's ready. So even if it's ready 2022, it's a shot put when it's going to come online. But I encourage everybody, if you're interested in that system, come out to Clash Bash or come out to Red October. We bring the machine guns. You feed it, we'll bring it. We'll melt these guns. All our machine guns are temporary imports. I don't care if it goes back as a smoothbore. I'm getting it back with a new barrel. So, we've burnt suppressors up on them. Guys would come up with D60s and run them. Whatever, it's going back. So burn it down for all I care.
Burn it down. There we go. You mentioned it here. We have upcoming events, products, and goals. On the next question here, Dissonant Arms Galil. You kind of hinted they working on one. So modifications to the Galil. Can we see that? When can we expect it? Can you leak anything?
So they do a lot of work on the Galil in general. So if you go to their website, you can purchase a tricked out ALG modified trigger, RS regulate rail, things of that nature. We work closely with those boys and everybody else. I don't know that there'll be a collaboration. If there can be, I'm all for it. But as people that call us and like want to do upgrades to the Galil, we typically send them to what we talked about earlier with either Haikun or DA. We lean on a lot of our partners to give us ideas. We don't know everything about weapon systems. And the one thing we do know is that John Q. Public will break something, and we can only test so much in a climate controlled facility. So we would rather just give it out to those guys and say, what would you like to see? And see where it goes from there. But it's ever evolving, trying to get new product. The U.S. market, we love to play garage gunsmith, and our guns are Lego pieces. So getting the aftermarket support now with the Ace and more other our products with the X95 and things of that nature, it's super helpful. As working in retail stores, like if people can add, we want to make a 5-pound rifle weigh 50. That's the goal. Put everything we can on the gun. Having that aftermarket support drives sales, and as a dealer, they thoroughly enjoy it. So it helps us a lot.
There we go. We're probably going to hit a last minute live here. Then we're going to wrap it up, but definitely check them out, man. TS12 Tavor shotgun, one of a kind looking piece. They're flying off the shelves. People love them. Galil Ace, can't keep them in stock. And the Zion, I haven't seen one of those in person yet, so I gotta check one of those out, but haven't seen one in person yet. But man, they got kind of everything you need over at IWI. It's just about would you see it because of shipping and all that stuff during this time of year, and this year in general. Any live, and then I want to mention the giveaway for those who are just joining in. At 9:30, we posted up a new giveaway for you guys to get into. Check out the Shooter's Mindset post for that. Get in entered, and we'll announce the winner on the next show. What do we got, Greg? Anything? Jen?
I got to give a shout out to my friend Whitney. Hey, Whit.
Hey.
Because he said I'm his guardian angel.
Nice.
Jen, when's your next match?
I fly out tomorrow to Wyoming.
Where at in Wyoming?
Well, I think the match is actually in Utah.
Okay.
So I'll fly into Salt Lake City, stay in Evanston, Wyoming, and then there's this really cool Hornady range somewhere that has coordinates, not like addresses. So
Yep.
I can't really tell you where because it's coordinates and I don't remember. But yeah, that's where I'm
Are
going.
you shooting the 6 GT as well, or
I am.
everybody? George done got that caliber locked down.
Mhm.
This is like his match, so like it only makes sense to shoot GT at his match, right?
For sure.
Mhm.
Mhm.
He's been
Yep.
running that 6 arc for a while too, so curious to see how that takes over. If I'd like to see them bring back the gas gun series. I had a good time with that.
I think there just wasn't enough participation in it. Like if there were more people doing it, I feel like they would do it. But it was like, I don't know. I would shoot a PRS match and there'd be like 2 gas guns for the whole match. 250 shooters and 2 of them were gas guns. So
Well, I don't think they did the gas gun series, the service at it and the justice at it. I mean, you didn't really hear about it much either at the
Mhm.
with the old regime of the PRS and things of that nature. So, when we were title sponsor with Surgeon and Armalite on that side, I mean, you didn't hear a whole lot about it. But I always felt that everybody has a gas gun of some caliber for that matter. They can come out and play. But Corey, he's commenting on there. He's doing great things down there in South Florida, trying to get more people to come out and shoot PRS, and it seems to be the ever growing popular thing right now.
don't blow Corey's head up now.
I've done a lot of work with those boys down there when I used to live down there. So we used to go out to, I don't even know what it's called anymore. Man, what's Altair called now?
I don't even think I don't think it's there anymore.
Is it
It's
functioning
there,
at
but
all?
man, Todd Lewis, I think Todd Lewis is still running a match in the prison side. So there was Deep Lake, and then there was like where the big prison was.
Yep.
I think someone bought the whole place. They burnt down the whole Deep Lake facility, kind of lit on fire. Somebody else bought the property who's allowing some matches to go on, but I don't know if it's open to the public or if you have to buy a membership to get on it, but it's still there. I'm not sure what it's called anymore though.
Besides Core, I mean, that was really the only place you could get past 600 in Florida. So,
Yeah.
Aries in Leesburg's got 700, but
I think Okeechobee Shooting Sports you can get out to what, 5 or 1,000 or something like that. I don't know. There's a Hollywood Tactical something is a PRS league over there a little bit up north, and I think they were reaching out to 5 if I'm not mistaken, or 1,000 somewhere in there. But
yeah,
that's about it.
There's a lot of good shooters in that part of that area, with Core, and now Greg and I were talking about the arena place now, and prior to that it was Legion. So a lot of good shooters, a lot of good Phil at Masterpiece doing a great job building that community there around that area. So
There we go.
it's good to have it.
Last minute live questions. What do we got? Any good ones? If not, will you go ahead and wrap this one up to today?
There's a lot more about skinny jeans. I'm just saying.
That's what I was about to say.
Adam Weber says pants are prisoners for legs. So
he
Jeremy,
wears scrubs every day.
What's your email if people want to get in contact with you? And I'm thinking maybe we can put together, buy a IWI from Jeremy directly, free pair of skinny jeans go in the box or something like that. I think
if Vertex still made the Delta Elites, I could probably help somebody out, but they discontinued them, which is unfortunate. But now you could get a hold of us on all the social media platforms, IWI US, and then with us, just my email is jeremyg@iwi.us or info@iwi.us. Got a customer service team, 4 people. You call us, you get a human body. We do the best we can with what we got, and we'll continue to pump product out and serve the U.S. market and other markets like it best we can.
Here we go. Check out their lineup. You got any more?
Wow, you have a lot of friends, don't you?
Or enemies, however you want to call it.
This is pretty brutal.
The problem is that like some of them are like my sponsored shooters. And I'm like, God, well, y'all, you don't bite the hand that feeds you. Come on now.
Dude,
So-
they're being brutal.
Let's say if those are sponsored shooters, I think their sponsorship next year might be like a hat and a koozie or something.
The problem is they get upset when I beat them. Like Adam Licky's over here talking trash, but he just got his butt whooped last weekend at 3-man 3-gun. Like bad.
Adam
Man.
Lickey is talking some mad shit, I will say. Hey, Adam.
Adam,
But I got to call you out for that one.
yeah, I've got it on my phone next to me. That's why I keep looking over and laughing. And then Jeremy Krolak's up there in Gainesville with GTR and Big Daddy Unlimited, and he got beat pretty hard last year at Red October, so he was walking around all Mr. Poopy Pants. So I think you're supposed to beat the person who sponsors you. I feel like that's how it's supposed to work, but it don't.
That's how it yeah. Sometimes that's how it works, exactly.
So,
but apparently not.
And then I got some of my reps. Scott Mongens over here texting. He's a Gator. He can't help it. I'm surprised he can spell his damn name right. So,
2021 sponsorship. You have to beat Jeremy at a match. If not, if you lose the sponsorship. So that's how we're sponsoring people for 2021 IWI.
Lance says he's the only one you beat.
See,
Adam says new phone. Who dis?
Yeah, exactly. See, Lance shot PCC because he didn't want to bang with the big boys, but that's okay. I understand.
Oh, I'm not even gonna go there because I have opinions, but I'm gonna be good.
Oh, come on now. On the commenting list, I'd say the Dylan. He gonna whoop me pretty good, but that's all right. As I was, they do their thing, so I can't complain too much.
There you go. I guess we can wrap this one up here. For those listening on the podcast, every Tuesday at 9, new episode of The Shooter's Mindset. You can find more information on The Shooter's Mindset Facebook page. Also, you can find all our episodes up to 301 on YouTube. Just type in The Shooter's Mindset Show.
That is crazy.
301. More info on theshootersmindset.com. Also, shout outs. What do we got? Jen, you usually start us off.
I can't find my piece of paper, but I don't have my gun behind me because it's packed in a rifle case because I fly out tomorrow to a match. But McMillan stocks make awesome stocks, so check them out. Night Force Optics, GSL suppressors. I'm trying to think off the top of my head now. Prime Ammo. Awesome ammo. I'm shooting their 6GT in this match coming up.
Nice.
Warren scope mounts and bipods. And Shooters of Augusta and Sharpshooters of Augusta. I spent like my entire weekend at Sharpshooters, so they tolerated me while I was there trying to zero and check ammo and all that good stuff. So check them out. If you're here local to me, go see them. They're the best place to go shoot here in Augusta. We Bad for awesome bags. And I'm going to forget somebody, so I'm just going to stop right there.
There you go. Greg, what do you got?
Go to Greg.
Just after you unmute. He almost made it through an entire show.
It's been like a month since I forgot to unmute myself, so I did that intentionally. It wouldn't be an episode of the Shooter's
It was on
Mindset.
purpose, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, there you go.
Totally planned. I have GSL suppressors. I got a couple of them right now sitting at Crack Shop Pawn and Firearms. Got to bring some papers and mail them off and wait for a checkbook to get here. Apparently you got to write checks. I don't know who does that anymore.
You don't, but I told you. But
so I haven't taken it out of the package yet. I'm going to see if I can figure out where to put my card in there. Anyway.
I usually do, but you can put a credit card or debit card information on the form.
Gotcha. Shooters and Sharpshooters of Augusta. PDC Custom for an absolutely beautiful rifle chassis available in the neon green or normal human colors. NDZ Performance to build a real sweet Gucci Glock. Phone Scope, probably the coolest long range accessory money could buy. Shooter's World Propellant. You know, we talked a lot about not being able to find ammo. There's also been powder shortages, but I've had no issues getting my powder. Yep. Hunter's HD Gold is kind of like HDR filters for your eyes. You can see so much better with it. Bortec for when you forget to clean your rifle and got to do a really good job at it. And that's all I got.
All right. Jeremy, any shout outs on your end, man?
I appreciate coming on. I know that y'all have had some long days too, working, and appreciate what you do for the shoot community. Anthony, we'll get together, send me whoever you want, and we'll figure out a way to give away a TS12 on one of your episodes, drive some more traffic back to you. And
TS12, dang, that's just, you guys are just gonna get a gun. Somebody we just leaked it. There's a gun coming. All right, a full gun for you guys to get in and possibly win TS12.
you just have to watch whichever episode comes online where you do it. So the suspense will be there. We'll get up together and we'll figure that out.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Again, we appreciate it.
Some last minute closeouts for me. Definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're watching there. Yellow subscribe button every Tuesday. New episode of The Shooter's Mindset on The Shooter's Mindset Facebook page. If you want to email me, theshootersmindset@gmail.com is a good way to do that. Definitely thanks to Jeremy for coming on, spending 2 hours of his time here to talk about IWI with us.
Hey, Dylan Easley says a comment section shout out to Jeremy for being a great punching bag.
Yeah. Yeah, he took those and rolled with them, man. He just
He just rolled with it.
Rolled with them all. Rise Armament for some fantastic ARs and AR-15 triggers. GSL technology suppressors for all your suppressor needs. That'll do it. Episode 301 of The Shooter's Mindset. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight, and we're out of here.